Have you ever seen a headline that made you stop scrolling and rub your eyes in disbelief? Maybe it was a photo of someone you see every single day on your television, but the words next to it sounded like a total scandal. Lately, the internet has been buzzing with a very specific and shocking claim about one of the most respected women in the world of news. People are talking about Dana Perino, the famous co-host of The Five, and they're using words that don't seem to fit her professional image at all. At 53 years old, headlines are claiming that she has left nothing to the imagination and that there is proof in pictures of a side of her we have never seen. But is this a real story about a secret life? Or is it something much deeper that tells us more about how the world views powerful women? Today, we're going inside the life of Dana Perino to find out what these pictures really show and why the world is so obsessed with her transformation. You need to stay with us until the very end of this video, because the real proof in these pictures isn't what you think, and the final reveal about her personal life might just change the way you look at her forever. To understand why these headlines are so surprising, we first have to look at the woman Dana Perino has always been. She wasn't born into the glitz and glamour of New York City or the power of Washington, D.C. She grew up in the rugged, beautiful landscapes of Wyoming and Colorado. From the time she was a little girl, Dana was known for being incredibly disciplined and serious. She wasn't the kind of kid who got into trouble. She was the straight-A student who was always prepared. Her father used to make her read 2 newspapers every morning before she was even allowed to go to school. Can you imagine that? Most kids were watching cartoons, but Dana was learning about world events and politics. This early training created the perfect professional image that she carries today. She learned early on that if you want people to listen to you, you have to be the smartest person in the room. Her journey to fame wasn't a straight line. She worked in small-town news and eventually made her way to Washington, D.C. But the moment that truly changed her life was when she joined the White House staff under President George W. Bush. She eventually became the White House press secretary, making her only the second woman in history to hold that very difficult job. In that role, Dana was the definition of modest and professional. She had to stand in front of the world's toughest reporters every single day and answer questions about war, the economy, and the future of the country. She wore professional suits, her hair was always perfect, and she never lost her cool. Because of this, the American public saw her as a symbol of grace and order. She was the woman who never made a mistake. This is why the modern headlines calling her indecent or revealing feel like such a shock to the system. But even back then, there was a tough side to Dana that people didn't always see. She had to deal with a lot of pressure, and she had to be strong to survive in a world filled with powerful men. This strength is what helped her transition from politics to the world of television. When she joined Fox News, she became a household name all over again. As a co-host on The Five, people feel like they know her. She is the calm voice in the middle of heated debates. She is the one who talks about her dog and her life in a way that feels very relatable. But as she has reached her early 50s, something has started to change. Fans have noticed that Dana seems more confident and more willing to show a different side of herself than she ever did in Washington. This leads us to our first major hook. Why are people suddenly searching for revealing photos of a news anchor? It turns out that as Dana reached the age of 53, she underwent a physical transformation that caught everyone off guard. She has always been fit, but lately, she has looked more toned and vibrant than ever before. She started sharing more of her personal life on social media, including photos of her workout routines, her vacations, and her time away from the news desk. In these photos, she isn't wearing a stiff suit or a high-collar blouse. She is wearing athletic gear, summer dresses, and casual clothes that show off her hard work. To some people on the internet, seeing a 53-year-old woman look this good is scandalous. They use the phrase leaves nothing to the imagination because they aren't used to seeing a serious professional look so athletic and youthful. But is there actual proof of something indecent? If you look at the pictures being shared in these viral articles, you won't find anything that would get her in trouble. What you will find is a woman who has mastered the art of aging with strength. Dana is very open about her love for exercise and healthy living. She is a fan of the Mamba mentality and pushes herself to be better every day. Some of the pictures that people call revealing are actually just photos of her at the gym or on a boat during her summer holiday. This scandal is simply that she is a woman over 50 who refuses to fade away or hide her body. She is showing the world that you can be a serious intellectual and still be proud of your physical fitness. There is another side to Dana's life that is often hidden behind the headlines, and it involves her husband, Peter McMahon. Their love story is something straight out of a movie. They met on a flight from Denver to Chicago in 1997. Peter was an international businessman from England, and Dana was just starting her career. They talked for the entire flight, and by the time they landed, they knew they were meant to be together. Despite a 14-year age gap and the fact that they lived in different countries, they made it work. They have been married for over 25 years now. This stable, loving relationship is the secret foundation of her life. When you have a partner who supports you, it's much easier to be brave and show the world who you really are. This is part of why Dana feels so comfortable being herself today. She isn't looking for anyone's approval but her own and her family's. Stay tuned, because we're getting closer to the real reveal about those nothing to the imagination pictures. One of the reasons Dana is so popular is her love for her dogs. First, there was Jasper, the famous America's dog, and now there is Percy. Dana often shares photos of herself playing with her dogs, and in these moments, she is completely natural. No fancy makeup, no studio lighting, just a woman in her backyard. For many fans, these are the most revealing pictures of all. They show a vulnerability and a kindness that you don't always see when she is debating politics on TV. The proof in these pictures is that Dana is a real person who finds joy in the simple things. The internet tries to make it about her body, but the real story is about her heart. We also have to talk about the pressure of being a woman on television. In the news industry, there is a lot of focus on how women look. People comment on their hair, their dresses, and even their shoes. Dana has talked about how she has to ignore the negative comments and focus on her work. She knows that some people will always find something to complain about. If she dresses too modestly, they call her boring. If she dresses in a way that shows her fitness, they call her indecent. By leaning into her transformation and being proud of her health at 53, Dana is taking the power back. She is saying that she won't be defined by what a stranger on the internet thinks a 53-year-old woman should look like. But what about the specific claim that she leaves nothing to the imagination? When you hear that phrase, you might think of something inappropriate. But in Dana's case, it has a different meaning. She is a woman who has written several books about her life and her advice for young people. She is an open book. She shares her mistakes, her fears, and her successes. She leaves nothing to the imagination because she is so honest about who she is. She doesn't hide behind a fake persona. Whether she is talking about her time in the White House or her struggle to stay fit, she tells the truth. This honesty is what makes her so powerful. The proof is in her words and her actions, not just her photos. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive into the truth about Dana Perino. We hope this cleared up the confusion and showed you why those shocking headlines aren't always what they seem. Dana is a reminder that we should all be brave enough to show our true selves to the world, no matter what age we are. Her life is a story of discipline, love, and a refusal to be put in a box. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more stories about the real lives of your favorite stars, make sure to keep watching our content. We love uncovering the human stories behind the viral headlines. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and remember that the real truth is usually much more inspiring than the clickbait.